Also, I'll take you back.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story of Abel Mutua?
Yeah, sure.
How Abel Mutua became who he is?
Yeah.
He said they used to act.
Yeah.
And that day, they went acting. I don't know where. I don't remember the name of the place they went to act.
Yeah.
And somebody somewhere just came and said, "Hi, we're looking for actors to go and start a show."
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
And he signed up. And that is how he ended up in Hadithi High.
Yeah.
You see that transition?
Yeah.
Aye. Afro cinema was started because of luck.
Yeah.
They didn't have work, but they were very learned.
Yeah.
Nigerians were many. Most of them had 2 degrees and 1 master's, 2 degrees and 1 master's, 2 degrees and 1 master's.
Yeah.
So they sat together and asked themselves, what do we do? That is why they started with Afro.
Yeah.
People who had studied arts, a number of people who had studied arts. Even their cameras and any were not the best quality, but they started somewhere.
Yeah. A very good evening wherever you are watching us from. Welcome back to another episode of The Untold Truth. My beautiful name is Awiloyo kama kawaida, and welcome back. For our new subscribers, we really say a big thank you because you're amazing people to the family of Untold Truth. For our returning, we really appreciate your time being here. Karibuni sana. So today, I'm here with a guest, and the guest of today is so an amazing and a creative one. Karibuni sana for this an amazing episode. So, Jamani, I have my guest here. And before that, I just want to go through him, yeah? Let's know about who is the guest of the today. Remember that your feedback is very and always important for us. We really care for your feedback, and your feedback always takes us far. We really need your engagement. So today, the story of today, we are diving into a powerful conversation about storytelling, culture, and technology in Africa. So our guest today is someone who is only in shaping the future in literature, in early learning in schools. So today we want to know about how he started the organization, about Andishi Africa, if I'm not wrong, Andishi Africa. So we want to know about Andishi Africa and how the Andishi Africa came. So karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My name is Odero Oluoch, as you've mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm the founder of Andishi Africa.
Yeah.
And I hope today we are going to talk about it from how the idea came up to how it has grown up to where it is right now.
Thank you for joining us for this an amazing episode.
Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel welcome.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we go deep into Andishi, maybe somebody might be asking himself, who is Oluoch Odero? First, before we start what about Andishi?
Well, to begin with, I'm a man.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe in 2 genders.
Obvious.
Yeah. I have, we are 7 siblings in my family.
Yeah.
I'm a friend to man. I believe in God.
Yeah.
By profession, I am a software engineer by profession.
Yeah.
And I write code for a living.
Yeah.
I used to know maths when I was younger. I don't know why. In my adult age, maths has become an issue. So kitambo, I used to call myself a disciplined mathematician.
Yeah.
At my adult age, I find myself more into reading and writing and storytelling.
Yeah.
And just putting the word out there. Also, I fancy myself as a creative.
Yeah.
I think I'm a very creative person and a problem solver. That gives a 360. So I've spoken about family background, I've spoken about profession, and just my general interaction with the people.
Actually, talking about that, coming up with this organization, it simply means that you were so book-friendly when you were young.
Yes. I grew up with parents who are both teachers.
Yeah.
I think that is where the seed was planted, because my mother is a teacher of English literature.
Yeah.
My father is a very good storyteller, very good storyteller, though he used to teach Swahili or something. I think at some point he shifted to adult education and then got to the ministry. But before he retired, he also was a good storyteller, or still is actually, because he tells most of the stories at home. So growing up, you know how if your mother is a teacher, she comes back from school with books and just puts them on the table.
Yeah.
You play with them, you get to look at them, you get to read them. My mother had a library from since we were young. It had books of Ellen G. White. It had books of, Yes, it had books of, this literature, Chinua Achebe. So I remember reading books like Aminata when I was very young. I remember reading Coming to Birth. I remember reading Majori. What was that? Majori Olude. Some Majori Makolude, I don't remember. I think the name has gotten off. I remember reading The River and the Source when I was, I think, in class 6 or 7. Some of these things I didn't even get the grasp of it. But the fact that you're just interacting with words, you meet something you don't understand, you go ask. So that is what set the foundation for me and my love for literature and Africa's literary wealth.
So before we get into how you came about the Andishi Africa, we want to know about what is this Andishi Africa? For those who don't understand,
using big English, we want to scare people. Big English. So Andishi Africa is keen on promoting the creation, distribution, and consumption of creative African literature. If I simplify it, creation is writing. What is a writer? What are the challenges a writer is going through? How are we making it better for a writer? Consumption is the reader. Where is the reader? How do we find the reader? What do we do so that the reader is ready to receive the content brought by the writer? And that comes into the distribution. How do you make sure what has been written by a writer gets to the reader? If you've attended some book launches, you'd see how people invite their friends to help them launch their books. And the friends will, of course, buy the book and he will sign. But most of these friends will go and put these books in their shelves. And these books go no further than the communities. So those are what we ask ourselves. What can we do so that when the writer has written a book and the book has been published and it's there in print, how do we make sure a larger audience gets to this book and the book grows beyond just the friends who you will invite for your book launch? So that is the core foundation of Andishi Africa. We're keen on creation, consumption, and distribution of creative African literature. But if you look at it deeper, reading and writing is not limited by age. So we ask ourselves, if we want a community that reads, what is the best age to start? Start when they're young. That is how the foundational literacy comes in, the children program that we run. I was explaining what Andishi Africa is. Now that I've given a core 360. I want to start from the history of how it started, so that I share how we birthed each program, how we got into foundational literacy, how we got into programs that run into high school, and how we got into now the product that we have on the Safaricom M-Pesa app.
Take us through that.
Yes. So as I had mentioned, my background, grew up in a family, people who love to read and are very interesting storytellers. You know how you go to high school, and in high school, there were books to read. Peseta series used to rotate around a lot around school. There were novels in the library. We were just a community of people who enjoyed reading. Most of them, some African written, like the Pesetas were written by Kenyans, and then some that came from abroad. We got donations from books. And then you come to campus, and in campus, getting books is a bit of a hassle. The closest you can get are the books that are sold on the streets, like 100 bob, 200 bob, sometimes even 50 bob. But they are books that come from outside. They are not African authored materials. So you see, it started conflicting from that point. I'm coming from a home where my parents are pro-African literature, and then I get to the city where books that are available and affordable are not African authored. So I think that bothered me for a while. It was like something at the back of my mind. What do I do with this? What do I do? How do we solve this? I tried joining book clubs. I want to give a shout out to Writers Guild. Back then, they used to have a meeting at I&M where if you are a writer, passionate about writing, you'd go to I&M and then join a fellows that talk about African literature, talk about books and writing, train people. In fact, most of the guys who are there, all of them or most of them are now published authors. So, as I'd mentioned, I'm a software engineer by profession. So again, back in the day, I'm in campus. I think year 1, year 2-ish, you're learning code, you're learning how to do things. Part of the school projects, you're normally given things to develop a calculator, develop an Android app that does develop. So different people had different projects coming up. But at some point, I built a blog. It was a very simple blogging app. I loved it. It was so simple and easy that the using it was so easy. Back then, if you saw blogs, they had a lot of advertisement, ads popping up, ads popping up. But what I made was clean and neat. So I told myself, unlike all other projects that I've done, this one I'm not going to leave. Then there was Bikozulu. I used to enjoy reading Bikozulu then. I used to want to tell myself, hey, one day I want to be like Bikozulu. So I'll write with authority and influence that Bikozulu had. So I started writing and told myself, I don't have to wait until I'm older. I can start writing now. You now see I write and I put on my blog that I build. Then there were these technology guys that were giving people student offers. They would give people servers. It was called Linode. Linode is a company that gives servers. So if you're a student, you're given like 1 year free. So I signed up for the 1 year free offer and I hosted my server on Linode. So I have a link, www.andishi.africa. And I write stories. I put on my status, of course. See, when you put on your status, people get to see.
Yeah, sure.
And fellow writers start asking me, hey, man, see, you also make for me, I write. And then, if I can make for you, I know another friend who writes. Then I reach out to Saina. Then I reach out to Sharon Chebaibai. Then I reach out to, you get. So I start reaching out to my friends who I see.
That connection.
Yes. And then those days, everyone had a WordPress account. So if you had a WordPress and I liked the type of materials you're writing, I'd reach out to you and say, hey man, come let's also write here. The beauty of it is if you have 10 writers, if one person writes a story, all these 10 people share that story, the numbers start to grow. So that is how we slowly started building a platform. Because we started around 2016, 2017, by 2018, we have a whole structure, a pipeline, something that is flowing. By 2019, of course, you have volunteer editors, volunteer graphic designers. The pipeline is like neatly done. Someone writes a story, we review it, the editor looks at it, give to the graphic designer designs a poster for it, we share on the socials, social media manager puts a very catchy phrase. Before you know it, it's out there. You have like 2,000 people viewing, 3,000, sometimes 5,000 on the most, nini. And then COVID-19 came. Now, during COVID, there was an interesting thing that happened. Everyone was on their device. Everyone was on their phone. Everyone was just getting entertainment from their phone. Our numbers got very high. Some stories would get 600,000 clicks. Some would get 400, some would get 500 on average. And you look at the numbers, you realize even Kenya was like number 7. Some from Canada, Germany, US, South Africa, Nigeria. And so we started taking advantage of that space. We'd hold Twitter spaces, we'd hold Instagram lives, we'd hold conversations where you host authors, other authors from other countries. A lot of things were happening in between that gave us a good bubble. And so we established ourselves in a way that we knew we were somewhat influencing, telling the African story. And ours was very tricky because we don't just share any other. We want you to either be creative fiction or creative nonfiction. There had to be an element of creativity in it. So the structure went, everything set well, numbers are doing good. Then COVID-19 ended. When COVID-19 ended, numbers started subsiding. You're used to getting 200,000, now you're getting 19.
People went back to their jobs.
Yes, people went back to their jobs. People stopped now on their devices. People got busy. So then we sat down and asked ourselves, okay, if our mission really is to promote reading and writing of creative African fiction, we need to now sit down and plan ourselves well. So we said, if we want to promote reading and writing, let's start with children. Let's get into children and make sure we've packaged something that we can deliver to kids so that they love reading. And not just reading creative African fiction. Reading books written by Kenyans, reading books written by Africans, so that when they grow older, they will love reading. They'll appreciate more of themselves. They won't struggle too much to be like the Cinderellas that they read in the books. They do know that beauty does not mean bleaching your skin. Atieno is just as dark as Kanini, Kanini is just as light skinned as Samatieno, who could be, you see, like love your authentic self. So we started a program called the Hadithi Hadithi Foundational Literacy Program. We pitched to the ministry. The ministry said it will be a bit of a challenge to get to schools because, of course, we are very young, very ambitious. So they advised us, go to children's homes, go to community centers, go to areas where there is need for your solution, because they loved the solution. They loved how we packaged it. So going to children, we did a call telling guys, hey, we'd want to run this program in children's homes. Can you nominate children's homes? And people nominated, quite a number. And then we asked, if you'd like to volunteer with us, because we didn't have money. If you'd like to volunteer with us, please sign up. So once volunteers signed up, we trained them, told them how to do assessment. We had consultants who were helping us to make sure we run this program. Volunteers were trained, checked, make sure they know children and how to protect children and how to, work. Children are very delicate, how to work with children. That went on for a while. Then another idea came, let's target high schools. High schools are an interesting space. There's a lot of talent. People write, and they're at a very interesting age where they need to express themselves more. So what we are doing is we have book clubs in high schools. This book club in high schools, students write stories. Then we get to review the stories. So we give them more of a guide, an editorial guide to help this child develop their voice, their writing voice more strongly. It didn't do so well in schools. I think, again, the bureaucracy from the government, where if you want to use a teacher as a patron, you have to go to TSC. TSC has to approve. That was a whole hassle. If your content has to be in school, you have to go to KICD. KICD have to approve each of them page by page, word by word.
So you can't agree with principal and just do it?
If KICD finds out, you're in problems. The principal is also in problem.
Okay.
You've seen books stamped, approved by KICD. Now those ones can freely rotate around schools. But if it's not, and one day a wrong word or something is written and it's interpreted wrongly, maybe there's a strike in school because a story was teaching kids to stand up for their right. Now you're in problems. Because stories are very powerful. I could tell you a very interesting story, but then it triggers something in your mind. It provokes you to think a certain type of way. Yes, so the Ministry of Education advised that you go through KICD, go through TSC. Once TSC has approved, KICD have approved, then Ministry comes in and says, this is our product, we are supporting it. So then we said, okay, if we can't do that and we want this program to keep on running, how about in the holidays? Now we go through parents.
Door to door?
No, just social media. But then we tell parents outwardly, communities, churches, Nini, that your children will be closing school. There's a very long holiday towards, in fact, it's just a few days, and we'll have the holiday where the senior students sit for their national examination. Yes. So within that frame of time, why not have time with these kids and train them creative fictional writing? Train them how to build their voice. Writing is very innate, it's inborn, but with the proper mentorship, with the proper guidance, you get how to mature your voice out there. So that one also went for a while. And then we did now the adult community reading and writing.
So before you continue, how do you do that? You train them writing, or you suggest a topic they write, then you check?
So of course they are the basic, the foundations. For example, how to build tension, how to create conflict, how to this character assassination. How to make sure you don't have a happy ending, or even if you have a happy ending, like take the reader through some emotional. So you see, we have to look at the structures, because these are tools, they're stylistic devices. So once I've walked you through the tools, then I give you an assignment, go write.
Oh, then you write.
Then they write. Then once they've written, we come back again and we review. We say, okay, you're doing good. Let's read this story together. Let's read. For example, if I give you an assignment, go and write about nothing. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? So you see, that provokes your creativity. But I'm giving you tools to help you. I'm giving you a tool to help you build tension, so that here bring love, here bring tension. I'm giving you tools to make sure you stiffen conflict. Building how you design a character can stiffen conflict. If you create a father, this is a father, those Simba father who the moment they knock at the door, every children runs away.
So before I knock a door.
Yes, he normally comes around this time. So if you create a character and build a character with certain traits, that there is tension. Anybody comes near this character, you can already feel the tension. Yes. So how do you make sure the reader goes through an emotional roller coaster? One time they are high, one time they are low. One time they are neutral. One time they are scared, one time they are panicked. What kind of words, what kind of descriptions, what kind of, for example, when you give a tongue, the capability to test color. That's a stylistic device. The words coming off your mouth are dark. See, you have very dark words. So your tongue has color. So those are simple tools you give the children. Then now see the voice. Because you're not really giving them capability to write. They already have the capability to write. You're just helping them strengthen how they bring out the words. Strengthen how these things, so they mature in telling their stories. So I proceed. I'm bringing you back to COVID-19 has ended. We've thought of doing the foundational literacy program. We've thought of doing the, what is it called? We call it the Hadithi Fellowship for the high schoolers. Then we ask ourselves, what are we doing for the adults, for the general community? Of course, you can do Instagram Live, you can do TikTok, Twitter, nini, but where are we kwa ground? If you ask us, watu wako wapi, what do we say? So then we decided to either partner with the existing communities or set up our own book clubs. If someone wants to do a book launch, we have a community. So this was the rationale. We have a book club in Kampala, Uganda. We have a book club in Kisumu.
The Andishi one?
Yes, Andishi Africa book club in Kampala, Andishi Africa book club in Kisumu. Malindi, Kilifi. We don't have one in Nairobi.
So which one came first?
Kisumu. Then Kampala.
Okay.
Yes. Malindi, Kilifi. Arusha, the Arusha one was a bit shaky, but I don't know if it's still stable. It's been a while. The idea is, if you're a member of Andishi Africa and you write a book, say by God's grace, we have 20 book clubs. If I tell all book clubs, this is your read for this month. You see, your book already has an audience. You remember when I was telling you creation, consumption, and distribution? So we have a network of book readers in South Africa, in Nigeria, in Egypt, in almost every country in Africa. And then someone publishes a book within us. And then we say, guys, this is the book to read this month. Already you're an international seller.
Sure. I understand it.
You get. So that was the idea. Build a huge network of readers. Build a very huge network of readers. So once you have a huge network of readers, you can influence the distribution of books. You can influence the distribution of literature. Maybe there's a book in Kenya that is very good, but nobody knows about it. Some writer wrote some book, some really nice book. Someone got heartbroken. You know how they say writers write best when they're heartbroken? I don't know if it's true. But let's say someone was heartbroken and they wrote a nice book. The book has everything you'd want. But now, it's only known by probably people in Kisumu. So if we can put that within our network and distribute it across the continent, you see, that is how Nigeria normally wins. Nigerians are so many. Once they love something, they appreciate it and they vote for it. It's like the top trend in Kenya, in Africa. Just watch. Look at how Burna Boy made it. The moment you've made it in Nigeria, it's almost like you're the top in the world, in Africa. No, first it starts with Africa, and then they go to US. Because US is also, the black community is also predominantly of Nigerian or of Nigerian descent or West African descent, because of, you see, the trade. But then the moment you have these wings, man, you're somewhere. You're somewhere. So that's the rationale. So we have these three major programs that run. The Hadithi Hadithi Foundational Literacy Program, the Hadithi Fellowship Program, and then the Content for Adult Communities. Now, 2021, 2022, 2023, we have this blog. 2021, 2022, 2023. So they start subsiding around 2022. It's 2023 that we decide to zima it so that we focus more on what's happening on ground. This year, we said, let's bring it back. Let's bring back the platform that we used to have, where you'd write a story, an editor would look at it, and then it would be published. That is where the mini-app came in. So we sat down and looked around and said, what would be the easiest way to get readers? What would be the quickest way to find like a platform that you get people already there? If you put your product in it and you have this reading culture going on, you can distribute content very easily. So you remember I mentioned we have the Hadithi Fellowship Program where we train people how to write. So we had writers. In our community, we also have people who write, the ones who we started with. So then these writers, we reorganize ourselves and say, man, we guys have the capacity to write.
You suggest something and then you write.
And then we write. Yes. Like, let's give ourselves, let's challenge ourselves. So we had ebooks that were produced here and there. We had some PDF copies of novels.
So you suggest one topic or each and everyone to come with the idea and then you focus on the best idea?
So it depends. We can give a topic. It depends. I can give a starter line. Everybody start. You see the way composition used to happen. I give you a line to start. Let's see how creative you can get. So on the prologue, I write, this idea was written because blah, 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 blah. This was the structure. So then that's how. But most of them are digital. So because I'm a software engineer, of course, I have my skill here and there.
Sure.
I learned of the M-Pesa app. And I got, I think I would say, I was blessed because the Lord put me to work at M-Pesa. So of course you see.
Before you publish your thing in M-Pesa app, you are already working with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you learn, you see how things go around here, you see how, and then you get the skill. So I built an app it's called a mini app that is put inside the M-Pesa app. This is the math. M-Pesa app has 12 million daily active users. 12 million daily active users.
12 million?
Yes. M-Pesa already generally has 50 million. But the app itself has 12 million.
12 million.
Because there are people who use Katululu.
Sure.
There are people who use USSD. They don't go to the app. App has 12 million. So if I put my product on the M-Pesa app, I'm opening it up to 12 million.
Okay.
So 12 million people, as we are talking now, 12 million people can have access to
to your project,
to the product.
Now, do you think that this 12 million will click on that?
Now, you see, of course, people go to the M-Pesa for different reasons. Some people go there just because they are betting mini apps there. There are Bitcoin mini apps there. There are events mini apps there. There are other educational materials there. There are Book a Bus, Book SGR. There are quite a number of things going on. In fact, I realize most people don't know. The M-Pesa app is actually, because the M-Pesa app is envisioned to be a lifestyle app. If you know of WeChat in China, where you wake up in the morning and you think of buying snacks, you can buy it from the M-Pesa app. Where you want to leave the house and probably gas imeisha, you can order from the M-Pesa app. That is what is being done. It's called a super app. So that it is a central point for anything and everything. Because already it has payment integrated to it. So you just bring your service on top of it. Payment is taken. The payment cycle is already taken care of. And of course, because it is pulling a huge number, you don't need to do
the marketing part of it.
Yes, like you don't start from zero. You're not starting from zero. So mine is quite easier, because I ask myself, what is the cost of producing a story? Just a quality writer. Make sure the writer is taken care of. Make sure the needs of the writer are met, and make sure this writer is doing a good job. Then get a good editor, so that the editor makes sure that the voice of the writer is heard. That we make sure that what the writer wanted to say is told in the best way. Then it is now the work of Andishi Africa to market. Tell people in the world that, hey guys, M-Pesa app is here, and there's a mini app in M-Pesa app called Andishi Africa. If you're a fan of reading, because we started with short stories. If I take you back a few steps back, when COVID-19 subsided and our numbers reduced, we started doing research. Just market research. How is the publishing space in the country? Which one would be better, self-publish or look for a publisher? So we were asking these questions. What happens to books that have been produced? How far do they stay in the market? How long do they stay in the market? If you write a book now, 10 years from now, what happens to your book? How does the school market look like? Because we did research and realized most people publish to take to schools so that they become set books. What percentage of published books make it to schools? Yes. How is the supply chain? How is the supply chain of?
Very low.
Yes. You see, if you're publishing books, what is the hassle to take it to libraries within the country? You get. So we did research. We did significant research just to identify what happens. Do people really read? Do Kenyans actually read? Because we could be here saying, oh, we have materials, we want people to read. Do people actually read? Those are some of the research. We realize people actually do read. When people like Edgar Obare write those two expose, someone has some sex scandal, you'd be surprised to find some boda guy on their phone reading. And if you look at it, that is actually a creative non-fictional story. Or rather, yes, it's creative non-fictional because it's something that happens, but then the guy who's writing about it, write it in a very creative way so that it's juicy, There are some things that are added there to make it enticing. Tuko.co.ke tomorrow will write something interesting. You'll find people, boda guys reading. So is it that the people don't read?
People read.
People actually do read. What they're reading could be the question. What are they actually reading? Go to major book clubs in the country, especially in Nairobi. You'd find them how to win and influence people. You'd find them discussing how to... In fact, it's just last year and this year that there's been a significant promotion of African authored materials. Kitambo, most guys used to read this self-help, The Diary of a CEO, 0 to 1, Peter Thiel. Most guys used to read these technical books, self-help books, how to be a millionaire, how to and then they discuss.
Actually, how to be a millionaire.
Yes.
People always read
People always read these things. 48 Laws of Power. I'm like, okay. So there is already a culture of reading. What they are reading is the question. So how do we slowly start pulling them to read African materials? How do we slowly? The trick was short stories. 5-10 minutes and you're done reading. And then it's something you relate to, something you love, something you enjoy. Have you read Nairobi Noah? Nairobi Noah is a book, Kimani. I think Kimani is the one who published it. There's a book there who edited. There's a story there about Isili. That story is so Isili that when you read it, you even feel the noise. You see how Isili can be chaotic, noise everywhere. Watu wameja, things like the person who wrote it so well. When you're reading it, you're like, hey, this is
that thing in Isili.
Yes,
everything in Isili.
Yes. So, because we were asking ourselves then, okay, you want us to read African literature. What is African literature? Because when you say African literature, some people think it's Uganga and the witchcraft in the village. Some people think it's FGM. Some people think you're vouching for gender-based violence, because those are things that used to happen back in the days and people are comfortable in them, with them. Is that what you vouch as African literature? Then I tell them, we had a very intense debate within our community before we settled on what defines Andishi Africa. This is what we settled on. I want to write a story about Embu in the simplest way, that someone else from Embu will read and say, enyewe, this is Embu. That I write about Kisumu in the simplest way, that someone who is in Kisumu will read it and say, enyewe, this is? Yes. So I don't worry about the whole of Africa. We can't put the whole of Africa in one box. Just tell me about your home. Nicely, that when your sister reads it, or your brother, you say, this person has actually described my home. Like generally, if you meet boys, or even just generally boys and girls, and ask them to describe their high school experience, that teacher who used to be the Mkaliwa and became them, that nanny who used to be, and their names. And anybody who went to that school when that teacher was there will tell you, this is. They'll even add some traits, onto it. That is what we define as African literature. So whatever time did it happen during the times of hunters and gatherers? Is it futuristic? Is it a modern day story? It's okay. As long as a typical African or a typical Kenyan or a typical whatever area can relate to that story, then that counts as African literature. Because you can't tell us that you are a Tieno, but you lived abroad for all your years. So you're writing about snow. And because you're African, you want us to claim that as African. Can an average African relate to that? No. So that does not count as African literature. The lady, Majori Makoludes, I don't know, the name is getting lost. She's Mzungu, but married to someone called Olude. She's been in Kenya for so long that her stories are very Kenyan. You actually would relate to some of them. Does that count as African literature? Food for thought. Food for thought. Food for thought.
I get you.
Yes. So we've built a community of readers. We are continuously growing. So then we grow our capacity. We've built the mini app. The mini app is on the M-Pesa app right now. It's live. Each story goes at 20 bob. There are some that are free, but each goes at 20 bob.
Per day?
Not per day. We don't do per day or per story.
Per story.
If you go to the mini app right now, scroll down to the education section. I think it's the second one. Click on it. You'll be required to sign in. So you put an email address.
So you can read it anytime you want.
Anytime you want. It's on your profile. So
after paying that 20 bob.
Yes. Once you've gotten into the app, you'll see a list of stories. You can select the one you want. Read the synopsis, check out the author or the writer. Buy that story.
Okay, for someone who might want to know about this or me, let's say I'm a writer and I've come with a nice story. And I've published it. Do you offer like a store, something like store, so that you can help me to distribute it?
So those are some of the things we are working on internally. We have 3 deals. Deal 1 is we want to sell stories, physical books on the mini app. Because this is an app that is attracting readers. Assuming on a good case, one Monday morning, Awilo writes a story. Awilo is a writer. We send notification to users that, hey, Awilo has written a story. Assuming all the 12 million, I know this is extreme, but let's assume all the 12 million get to click the app. Maybe they didn't buy the story, but they clicked. When they're viewing, they see somewhere recommended for you. It's a book. We have already exposed this book to 12 million people. So that's deal 1. That we'd want to open. So then we don't have a physical store yet. Those are the things we are looking at. Yes, more of online. So then we'd need to, because some of the things we are looking at is the logistics. Where is this book stored? Where is the reader? So then how do we get it to the reader? So then the logistics of the fulfillment here is how does the book end up in the hands of the buyer? But we are looking at collaborating with bookstores that already exist, or setting up our own. Those are some of the things we're looking at. Which one would be an easier nini for us? Then the second deal was, if you write for us, if you're a writer, part of us, and you have your story, a book that you've written, then we support in the whole publishing process. Okay. So you don't worry. Just give us the manuscript. Our editors will look at it. We have partnered with a few publishers in the country. They'll look at it, and then the print will be done, and then we'll support in the distribution, even the book launch.
Yeah.
Yes.
You talked about helping. The Andishi was to help people again to read,
yes,
to bring that motivation of reading.
Yes.
Have you achieved something about that?
I sometimes want to take credit for what is going on in the country and the love for African literature.
Yeah.
Because before we came in, there was, of course, guys, the writer space Africa has existed, Kalahari Review has existed, Lolwe has existed, these guys, all of them existed.
Yeah.
But I feel like when we started doing live conversations and we started doing Instagram and Twitter, I feel like we somewhat started, you know how you disturb the waters?
Yeah.
The mission is bigger than us. And even now it has grown beyond us.
Yeah.
But we are here and we are part of it.
Yeah.
Most people I have spoken, not most, there's a number that I've spoken with that will tell you that the last time they read any African authored books was in high school, in set book.
Yeah.
So you talk to this person and maybe gift them a book. You've planted a seed.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you that African literature is actually nice. The more you interact with it, you give them a book like The Secret Lives of Baba Segi's Wife, or a book like Campaign Between. Campaign Between is published by one of us at Andishi Africa.
Yeah.
And they tell you, do you have another one? Give me a next one. Give me a next one. So I will look at it from my social circumference, people that I know, who would ordinarily not interact with African literature, but now are interacting with. Then I look at it from the third lens of stories are powerful. Because someone asked me this question the other day, how do I measure success? Of course, we are on the mini app. We have a mini app on the M-Pesa app, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You're exposing a writer to 12 million people. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
But does that measure a success?
Yeah.
And I tell them, to me, one day someone wakes up, goes to the M-Pesa app, buys a story, reads it, and you see some conversation around it. They either open a TikTok live or a Twitter just to talk about that story, to say that story got them, either reminded them of something or triggered them in a certain way, or like at least there is some resultant effect, because stories are very powerful. And you've asked the question that if Andishi Africa has achieved its mission of promoting how I'd know is if I can see the effect of a story.
Okay.
If the effect grows beyond, you bought a book and you've read it, what does that book talk about? Does it change your life or your thinking? Does it make you think of certain way in a different way? There's this joke people normally say, everybody who read The River and the Source, especially female, comes off as feminist.
Yeah, sure.
Because the writer was very feministic. You were dying because of a bone of a fish that has gotten stuck on your throat. Someone is like, most men in that story were. So other people interpret it in a very interesting way. So you look at how these people have been brought up.
Yeah.
And how they address life and how they look at things. And you're like, anyway, these people are influenced by this story.
Yeah.
That is what I'll call a success. When a story has been written and the power of that story grows beyond the story. So we stop praising the platform, we stop praising the writer, we see the story carrying itself across.
Yeah.
Either someone retells the story in a certain way. For example, someone writes a very interesting story, Awilo sees it and Awilo says, this is a good story, I can turn it into a script. Let me reach out to Andishi Africa.
Yeah.
And then you come and you tell you, please produce it as a script. We'll even support you and fund some of the things that you're doing so then it is staged. You see, the story has gone beyond the writer. It has gone beyond the platform. It is now repackaged into something different. Yeah.
You know, right now, let's say maybe, I don't know if in the economy of Kenya, but right now people have difficulty in reading.
Yes.
Like even if you write a long sentence, someone will just read and then afike katikati achane nayo.
Yes.
Do you think that there is a way that you can bring people back to the norm that they normalize the reading whole thing?
Unfortunately, there is no shortcut.
Yeah.
That is what we call attention deficit.
Yeah.
Researchers say social media has given us that attention deficit.
Yeah.
That even if I send you a message on WhatsApp and it has that read more, the brain is just already exhausted.
Yeah.
That will bring me back to the research I told you we did.
Yeah.
Because when I'm reading Edgar Obare's expose,
yeah,
it is something that I want to read and finish. And like when I'm reading someone, so like, what can I use as an example? No hate against prayers, by the way, but some people write these long prayers. Someone reads the first line, the second line, and so there's the element of comfort, familiarity, and interest. How do we make you interested so that when you see a literature material, you can read it to the finish line?
You want to read more and more.
Yes.
Okay, now I understand it.
Yes. You see here, there is no shortcut.
Yeah.
We cannot shorten the story for you. That will be just playing around with your attention.
Yeah.
But the way, I don't know if you've been following technological advancement, YouTube had very long videos.
Yeah, sure.
When TikTok came with short videos,
yeah.
TikTok won. Just very 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
Less than nowadays, people are afraid of watching the long videos
one. Yes.
on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you see, our attention is reducing.
Yeah.
And even us, because we don't fault ourselves as much, but we say our design was to start with short stories.
Yeah.
But how short is short? So that it's a short story, yes, but it will still require you to engage mentally.
Yeah.
You know, your mind has to be there. This is an intellectual material.
Yeah.
Of course, yes, it's fun. But you know, also for you to understand the pieces of literature, the items that are hidden within this story, you have to think.
Yeah.
So there's, how do we make you interested enough so that you want to read this material? Then number 3, how do we make sure you're enjoying your experience? We give you ease of access. It's something that for now, you have the M-Pesa app. You don't need to download any other app. Just go to the M-Pesa app, click. You can see the story, look at the synopsis, click and buy. You see how the moment you've started being interested, you know, now it pulls us closer. If you can read a short story today, another short story the next day, maybe the next day you read a shorter novel, and then the next one you read a longer novel. And by that cultivation, of course, it will take time. If someone told me I'm being delulu, because it's a cultural change. Cultural change is hard.
Yeah.
You have to convince people to stop watching TikTok and now read.
Yeah, sure. Which is so difficult.
That is difficult.
Yeah.
Behavioral, you have to tweak their behavior, and then they'll ask you, what is the incentive? Then what?
Yeah.
So nikuje nisome yako, then what?
Then what? Yeah.
Yes. So some of the challenges we anticipate are like that. Convincing the non-reading market to now get to read.
Andishi Africa, the word Andishi is so unique.
Yes.
How did you come up with that name? What is so special with that name?
It's a very interesting name because you see the onset we were looking for writers. So Swahili is waandishi. What are we coming to do?
Yeah.
Tuandika, what are these maandishi? So just play around with the stem, maandiko, andiko, andishi, nini. How we came up with this is Andishi Africa.
Yeah.
Just writers. So the original tag that we had was, what is African literature translated to Swahili? We didn't know. I just crafted it and said maandishi asili ya Kiafrika. But that is writings of African literature, of African nature.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, that can still work for us. Writings of African nature, maandishi ya asili ya Kiafrika. And that is how we just came up with Andishi. Who are we, by the way? Sisi ni waandishi. You get?
Yeah. It's making sense.
Yeah.
So far, with your with the program, have you go back and track the student, maybe back you are back in high schools, if they would continue with that reading? That
I will admit, we've not really gone back to look at these guys.
Yeah.
This is why resourcing has been a big problem.
Yeah.
Funds has been even in the ones we used to do with Foundational Literacy Program, resourcing has been a huge problem.
Yeah.
To do serious and proper monitoring and evaluation.
Yeah.
So the idea was set up the product on the M-Pesa app.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, it grows and it gives us the revenue that we are looking forward to.
Yeah.
Then we can now set certain elements of the budget to support and sustain both people who are with us previously and the guys we are looking to enroll in the next year.
So going back to track your people, your back people, how will you do it? And do you want to bring another initiative of now starting the early age, the younger ones? How do you want to do it?
So we have an age bracket that we start with, grade 1, grade 2. So probably we did something with this child when they were in grade 2. Now they should be in grade 3 or 4.
Yeah.
They are somewhat advanced kidogo. For the younger ones, we were looking at how do we provoke their creativity, how do we make them love reading. So then maybe when they were younger, they'd read story. You know those stories for kids that short. But now they can read more advanced.
Yeah.
So if zile stories that they have a big picture and just short words, maybe now that levels have advanced. So that would be giving them something that's more challenging, something that is more challenging. You get. So then their brain stretches. But for the guys in high school, because the pitch we had given them was, we train you. Once you become good, you can now come and write on our platform.
Okay.
So then do not let the skill slip.
So writing on your platform, they pay something or?
No, we pay them.
Or you pay them?
Yes. For the high schoolers, Bado, we've not yet figured a way around it. Okay. Because, high schoolers, you have to go through the parent. They are under 18.
Yeah.
For the adults, you sign a contract, we're good. We don't technically pay. Okay. Different outlets have different models. Some people give you money. They give you a retainer. Or they give you money and say, so you've given us, we've bought this material. Us is on a read basis. If you write a story and it's on the M-Pesa app, now Andishi Africa bears the cost of the platform fees, the AWS, and all those tax and all those things. So we tell you bring your story. Once you've brought your story, you put it in the market. If 1 million people buy your story, good enough, that's money. If only 10 buys it, see, that's also there.
Yeah.
We want the writer to write materials that are good enough that would get people. But our model is, the moment someone buys, that's when you get your thing.
Is the money promising? Do you think that someone can earn maybe over 20,000 a month with the product?
Okay, so I'll answer it in two ways.
Yeah.
Forecast, futuristic. It looks very promising.
Yeah.
It looks very, very promising.
Yeah.
Qua ground, we have to do marketing. We have to make sure people know about this, people want it, people love it.
Yeah.
So those are the two lenses.
Yeah.
Right now, we are doing what is called a proof of concept. I have an idea, but does it work? So let's put it in the market and test.
Yeah.
It's called market validation. Put it there. Check out if people actually do want it. Then after that, we scale. I want you to know that our market is not only on M-Pesa app and it's not only Kenya. We want to grow. We want to have writers from South Africa, from Uganda, from Nigeria, from Congo. We want to have writers from Egypt and the North. We want an app that someone in Nigeria can download and get to see.
Yeah.
Those are the things we are working towards. But before we throw ourselves there, let's sit down and do what we call market validation.
Yeah.
Does the current market actually want it? Are people going to get stories from the app? So that before you take it to Nigeria, before you take it to South Africa, you've picked a very small market and you've tested with it.
Yeah.
So in a futuristic way, I want you to imagine you've written a story. That story is accessible globally. How does that look like? If in Kenya, because this is the math we used to beat, M-Pesa app has 12 million.
Yeah.
If you target just 1%, that's 120,000.
Yeah.
120,000, assuming 1% buys one story. 120,000 by 20?
120 by?
By 20.
By 20.
That's 2.4.
That is 2.4.
Yeah. So it can still stretch to that.
So for these 2.4, you as the founder, the platform.
Yes.
You take yours and then distribute the remaining.
Yes. So we agree on a revenue share base. There's the platform fees. There's the ones that are used to maintain the infrastructure. AWS is not cheap, my friend. It is not cheap. The tax is also there. These are things that have to be taken care of. We're also looking at these programs. The foundational literacy want to be resourced. We're looking at the programs for high schoolers that needs to be funded. Though that is what remains with Andishi. Yeah. And then now the editor gets their cut, and then the writer gets their cut.
Apart from training out to write a good story, what else do you do under Andishi?
Of course, we have communities. So we do community events. We are planning an India dinner. Every year we have an India dinner. We just sit and celebrate our wins for the year.
Everyone, with fans, everyone, or you as a
Kitambo we used to do just in-house because we're still small, trying to figure a few things out. I think we will open it up to people so that you guys come and celebrate with us because now if the product is out there, we expect people to buy stories. Of course, include them when you're having your chicken somewhere in some place.
What about public workshops?
Not yet. We are doing private because, for example, I have internal editors. We have spaces where we want these editors to be better every day, spaces where we have the writers to be better every day. We've not yet opened up for public workshop. Even the training that we do, even the training for the editors volunteers. To learn children policies, to learn, care and how to handle young ones. Those ones have been a lot in-house. So we go look for a consultant, someone who's skilled in this area, agree, then bring them to train our guys.
Where do you see Andishi Africa in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years, we will be the go-to place for anything African literature. International, not just in Kenya. International. The beauty with technology and the beauty with what we are doing is it's a very easy product. Producing it might be the challenge because now you have to make sure the writer is in the best place. But once the writer has written something quality, it's not like a car that will have to be imported from Japan. Or a book that you say you are a Kenyan, you've written a book, you're wondering how it will get to someone in Nigeria. This is a digital product. Selling a digital product is not as hard. We want to grow into voice, audio stories, because now we only have the written ones. We are establishing communities with people in South Africa, people in Nigeria, the western side of Africa, southern side of Africa, and then the north. So we want to envision 10 years, we are stable, we are strong, we're in the market, and we are the go-to place for anything and everything creative African fiction. That if someone wants to get a story, physical book, they come to our app, they order, we deliver it to them, regardless of where they are in the world. That if someone wants to do research on African literature and whatever, they can come to us. We can support. That if someone wants to write a play, they've seen something interesting on our platform or a story, like I mentioned, a story that you mentioned, you'd like to turn it into a script and put it on a stage, come to us.
So it's like you will be like opening a library, something like that.
We could partner with existing libraries or open our own, because we are also learning how to work with what already exists so that we don't build everything from scratch. We don't start things from scratch. We would, because we are not here to compete, really. We want to supplement what already exists. For example, if we go to Nigeria, we'd not want to set up a whole new book club. Why not find one that already exists and then find out how we can synergize? If you already have your Sana program going around where you do scripting, why should we open a new one? Why not support you so that your growth helps us? You do the heavy lifting for us.
If you could change anything, what could that be?
If I could change anything, is it specific to Andishi? Interesting. I've never thought of it from that lens. If I could change anything. Well, I'm the founder. There are things that I'm good at, the things that I'm not good at. Things that I'm good at, I do. Things that I'm not good at, I ask for help. Where I can. If money is involved, we have to find a way. If money is not involved, we have to find a way to appreciate. I wish we were more willing to collaborate. I wish the country, the space was more willing to collaborate. If you realize there's a lot of things about art and creativity going on, but they are in silos. Otieno is running his on the other end, Owino is running his on the other end, Kanini is running his on the other end, Wanjiku is running theirs on the other end, Mwangi has. If we were willing to put things together, we would be more impactful. And in fact, we would realize that, because I tell people every day, the mission of African literature is bigger than me. And every day it's growing bigger than Andishi Africa. We cannot stand up and say, nobody will read tomorrow. We have refused. You see, we can't. There's somebody somewhere right now who's writing a book, and probably by the end of this month, the book will be published, that we know nothing about. And probably he has his community. People are going to read that story and enjoy it, and we might probably not even meet. If we were willing to sit down, all book communities in the country, all people who run festivals in the country, all people who, have anything going around creativity, art, with be it script playing, with it song composition, be it. The reason why I'm saying this, look at material like Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was a book that was written by someone. Series of books, of course. The book was so good, even Harry Potter, even most of these big novels. The book was so good that somebody decided to turn it into a script. Turning it into a script was one thing. Doing the production, you see now you need music composers to compose for you every theme. You need voice actors. You need Nini. You're setting up. You see the whole creative space coming in together. together. Something that started with just a book. If you are someone who thinks you're a musician and you don't read books, now suddenly an idea from a book is calling you to help compose a song, a sad song for a sad scene, or a dangerous song for a fighting scene. You see, if we can pull these things together, the whole world would benefit. But we want to do things. So you asked what I could change. I could change people's mindsets around collaboration and synergizing.
So throughout your journey, you starting Andishi Foundation, Andishi Africa, can you say that maybe government didn't put much effort into writing and reading in Kenya? Maybe we can put in maybe culture.
I'll start from the culture. Africa is a storytelling nation. We are more inclined towards storytelling. We rarely document. So culture already puts us at a disadvantage. Folk tales, the stories that were told, very few of it were documented. That even people who are trying to document now struggle to find actual things that happened. That's why you see different people coming with different versions of stories like Luanda Magere, like Siokimau, like you see. We are trying to put ourselves in a space where we have this documented, but in a fictional way. So culture already is putting us as a disadvantage. Government, I won't blame the government much because I think there are things that the government can do to support creativity. But then there are things that are on us. KNT is here. It's open. People get to do art. People hold festivals. People do. I think the government to that point has done well. There are, is it Denis Itumbi? I remember when there was this struggle between Malala and the play, the play that was banned. There was a panel that was called at Citizen TV. I sat and watched. I've watched the thing, I think, about 5 times, just to get to pick people's brain. What really is the issue here? Because you see, before the politics came in, there was the general, are we appreciating art? Are we supporting art? So there are institutions that are set, and they are set for STEM. What is the space of art in these things? There are programs that are set. You see people calling, there's a call for learning how to do data, learning how to do nini, So I won't really blame the government. I think the market also has pushed us in a certain way that is there someone who will hire you because you're a creative writer? You see, and like if someone who's hiring you because you know how to write code, you know how to do data analysis. So sometimes it's us to create demand for this product. Once we've created demand, then the government can now support and see, is this model sustainable? Get. Andishi Africa has a platform. It's on the Mini app. It's on the M-Pesa app. If one day some writer goes and writes on Twitter, hey guys, I bought my first car from writing here. You see, we have proven that we can monetize the creative economy. Then the government comes in and says, okay, what are you guys doing? How do we solidify the structures so that more people can get to monetize from the creative? You see, the pipeline that we have established. How do we make sure more and more guys, or what they call, how do we scale the solution? I won't fault the government now. I think I'm putting it on all creatives. Spaces like this are being created to support creatives. Once we have established a way in which we can create demand for our products, it will be then, we can now call in the government to support, to scale what we have established.
Okay, let's say you are given, today you are given a chance as a person from Andishi, maybe by the government. You've talked about KNT, National Theatre. And people have been complaining that National Theatre is that is the main National Theatre in Nairobi, which most of people go there. And actually, that is the main National Theatre, What can you do if you're given a chance maybe to expand on the in terms of theatres?
First of all, I want to start with expanding theatres. Because, okay, you've expanded theatres. What is going on in the theatres? I want to start a bit lower. Maybe go to high schools. Find a way in which we can... Oh, something has distorted my thinking. Do you know how Afro cinema grew?
Nigerians?
Yes. Those guys used to do very simple things. They didn't even have quality cameras.
Yeah.
Even their skits were not as quality or sophisticated. But they produced item every day, there's something new. And then they got better and better as they started with quantity, not quality.
Yeah.
And there were things in the village.
Yeah.
Very village life.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm sure they'd look for a house that looks village. You see now, the materials you see, you look for a house that is modern.
Yeah.
Polished, interior design, done.
Yeah.
Those guys started with village houses.
Yeah.
Houses that maybe even the grass the roof is half thatched.
Yeah.
I'd go to high schools. I don't know why I'm very, very keen on in high schools, but I'd go to high schools. And while in high school, I'd try to, you see, because the ones that work right now, high school and colleges, are drama festivals.
Yeah.
What happens to a play once it enter regionals and it failed there? What happens? Well, see, they go back to school and cry.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it. Wait for next year.
Yeah.
Good. That is where it starts from. So even if I want to establish a theater in Kisumu, theater in Muranga, theater in Nini, I want to first focus on what is being shown in this theater and how do we make sure there is more of it.
Yeah.
So small competition, inter-school competitions with plays, small so then we have more content coming in. Out of that, you realize that when you establish a culture, you've established a market and demand. Because I can't come to the theater if there's no show.
Yeah.
But if there are many shows to be played, every other Friday, Mangu High School is performing, Chogoria Girls is performing, Kisumu Girls is performing, you get, or KMTC. You said there's a KMTC that's performing in Kisumu, and the play is nice. Because when you start day one, probably nobody will come. Day 2, 10 people. Day 3, 100 people. Day 4, and then as you go by, you get more people. Yeah. So then it moves just beyond the school performing. It now becomes a culture. People know that every Friday at 3, there will be a show.
I get you.
And in 5 or 10 years, you've democratized the whole space.
You have talked about drama in high school.
Yes.
And they always do drama, national, regional, and then the last one is national.
Nationals. After nationals, there's the State House.
Yeah, State House.
The gala.
What happened after State House?
Nothing. You go back home with your trophy. Because you're given awards, you're given after those things that you're given. So it also depends on the sponsors.
Okay, talking of that. Yeah. So I wanted to know what happened after State House. Nothing.
Not much.
So you with Andishi, what can you do after State House? Regard to that.
Now, we're looking, I think I'm here for the long-term game.
Yeah.
Drama Festival is every year, then it ends, we start the next year, then it ends, it ends. Yeah. Also, I'll take you back.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story of Abel Mutua?
Yeah, sure.
How Abel Mutua became who he is?
Yeah.
He said they used to act.
Yeah.
And that day, they went acting. I don't know where, I don't remember the name of the place they went to act.
Yeah.
And somebody somewhere just came and said, "Hi, we're looking for actors to go and start a show."
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
And he signed up. And that is how he ended up in Hadithi High.
Yeah.
You see that transition?
Yeah.
Aye. We have Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
They have a level. We have our Kenyan comedy.
Yeah.
In fact, Kenyan comedy, Papa Shirandula, may his soul rest in peace, Inspector Mwala. You see, that's the Kenyan
Mother-in-law.
comedy. Yes, Mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Then we have this like Zera, like these ones that are serious.
Yeah.
They look like soap, romance.
Yeah.
I want to find a way in which I can transition this high schooler who has won into this stage and make sure what exists goes beyond Kenya.
Yeah.
So we can say the way Hollywood looks like it's the go-to place for every other actor.
Yeah.
Can we have one for Africa?
Yeah.
Then can we have one for East Africa? Then can we have one for Kenya? Then then there's levels. So I know if I'm an actor in high school, I don't know if CBC does this because there's an element of art in CBC and creative. What happens after you've been trained? The way footballers take football as a career.
Yeah.